In a quiet, lush village wrapped in the embrace of green hills and whispering winds, there lived two inseparable friends. One was a curious and carefree 6-year-old named Aryan. The other, a 10-year-old named Zayan, slightly older, wiser, and often the leader of their little adventures. Their friendship wasn't just ordinary. It was the kind that turned ordinary days into lifelong memories. They laughed together, shared meals from banana leaves under the big banyan tree, and explored the world beyond their village paths as if it was a kingdom waiting to be discovered. One bright afternoon, the sky was a brilliant blue with birds dancing across it. Aryan and Zayan ran out of their homes after lunch, energized and ready for another adventure. "You'll never catch me today," Zayan shouted as he dashed ahead. Aryan's eyes sparkled. "Bet I will," he called out, chasing after him with all the energy his small body could muster. They ran over fields, jumped over rocks, and ducked under tree branches. The world around them blurred into colors of freedom and joy. But just when everything seemed perfect, it happened. Zayan, in his excitement, didn't see what lay ahead, a forgotten, abandoned while camouflaged by tall grass and weeds. With one quick misstep, he slipped, and in a split second, he vanished from Aryan's sight. There was a splash, then panic. "Aryan, help! I can't swim," the voice echoed from deep inside the well. Aryan skidded to a stop, heart thudding, breath frozen. His best friend, the one who always led their games, was now drowning. Time seemed to stop. Aryan looked around. There was no adult, no villager nearby. Just the rustling of trees and the sound of Zayan splashing desperately below. His eyes locked onto an old, moss-covered bucket nearby, used once for drawing water from the same well. A rope lay beside it, coiled like a sleeping snake. Without thinking, Aryan grabbed the rope, tied it tightly to the bucket, and flung it down the well. "Zayan, hold on to the bucket. Just hold on," he screamed. Zayan grasped it, coughing and shaking. Now came the hardest part. Aryan's tiny hands wrapped around the rope. He pulled. Nothing. He gritted his teeth, planted his bare feet into the soft earth, and pulled again, harder. Inch by inch, the rope moved. His muscles burned. His fingers screamed in pain. The skin on his palms turned raw. But he kept pulling. "I won't let go. I won't let go," he whispered to himself like a mantra, tears mixing with sweat on his face. The rope slipped once. His heart almost stopped, but he didn't quit. With one final, desperate heave, he dragged Zayan out of the darkness. Scene 6. The aftermath. The boys collapsed on the ground, gasping, crying, laughing. You saved me," Zayan whispered, his voice shaking. Aryan, still catching his breath, smiled faintly. "Of course I did. You're my best friend. Who else would race me home?" They sat in silence, staring at the sky, hearts pounding. What they had just gone through was something neither of them fully understood, but they knew it was something extraordinary. Then the fear returned. "What if our parents find out?" Zayan said, his voice suddenly serious. Aryan's smile faded. "We'll get the biggest scolding of our lives." But after a moment of silence, they nodded to each other. The truth mattered more. So they picked themselves up and walked slowly back to the village. Excited and trembling, they told their families everything. The fall, the rescue, the rope, the pulling. But the reaction? Laughter. A 6-year-old pulled a 10-year-old from a well? Impossible. He can't even carry a full water bucket. You kids and your stories. The boys were crushed. Their truth had become a joke. Just then, a soft, calm voice cut through the noise. It was Uncle Frederick, the village elder, a man of few words but deep thoughts. He stepped forward and looked at the boys. "The question is not how the boy did it," he said slowly. "The real question is why he could do it." The villagers fell silent. Uncle Frederick continued. There was no one there to tell him he couldn't. No one said he was too small or too weak. Not even he told himself that. He just knew someone needed help, and so he helped. That is the power of belief. The villagers stood still, speechless. And in that silence, the truth of Aryan's courage echoed louder than all their doubts. So what's the lesson? Too often, we fail not because we're weak, but because we believe we are. Aryan didn't know he was too young to lift his friend, so he lifted him. He didn't stop to think about limitations. He only believed in his responsibility, and that belief gave him strength. The real enemy is doubt. The real power is belief. So when life tells you you're not ready, when people tell you it's impossible, when your own mind whispers, you can't, remember Aryan. When no one told him he couldn't, he proved that he could. Believe in yourself, even when no one else does. Because your strength doesn't come from the outside. It's built in the silence, in the courage to act, in the belief that your effort matters. So go ahead, be your own hero. Someone out there, maybe even your future self, is counting on you.